Alright guys, it's your boy Ryan Thomas from failtech.co.uk here, and today we're going to be doing a video on what it's like owning an iPad mini 2 or iPad with Retina display in 2016. So with these older iPads, you see them on the market, they're a lot cheaper. This one here we bought around Christmas time for £170 and it's 16 gigabytes and I believe it's just the Wi-Fi, it's not the 3G. And that's pretty cool because it's a decent price. Obviously, iPads are quite expensive being Apple, and there are some things I want to tell you about this, not spec-wise, because I can just go into my opinions. This is the whole part of this series is to do with opinions rather than specs, although specs do come into it. And I'm going to tell you why this iPad is the best iPad to buy right now. Okay, so before we get into anything about the iPad, I want to start off by saying the iPad mini 2, which is the iPad with Retina display, and the iPad mini 3 are the same. The one difference, the one and only difference between the two, actually I guess you could use two differences if you include the price. The one and only hardware difference is the fingerprint scanner. So if you don't want Touch ID, which I think is alright, but it's not really amazing, why would you have it on a tablet? If you don't want Touch ID, the iPad mini 3 is the same as the iPad mini 2. So it's the same specs, it's got the same screen, the same processor, the same RAM. Everything about it is the same. The only difference is Touch ID. So for an extra like £50, you're paying for a fingerprint sensor. If you don't want that, the iPad mini 3 is just going to be as good. The iPad mini 2 is going to be just as good as the iPad mini 3. Next is size. Now, the reason I think that iPad minis are the best is because I don't think that the full-size iPad really has a place in the market, although it does sell well. Obviously, Apple are making all this money off it, but I don't see the point, and here's why. Because here is my phone, right? This 4.7-inch phone. It's actually a small phone. It's very compact. And then here we have the iPad mini. But as you can see, it's quite a lot bigger than the phone, and I just don't see why you'd need a larger tablet. If you're doing, art and stuff, maybe. But then again, I don't know why you'd go with an iPad, because it can't run full desktop applications. But the size, I really do like, because it's easy to palm, so you can hold it. I've got small to medium-sized hands, and I can hold it quite easily, quite comfortably. And those larger iPads, I just don't see the point in them. Let me give you an example. Here is my Motorola Zoom from back in the day. It is actually imported from Japan. Really, really solid tablet. Like, that is like solid metal right on the outside. Cool tablet, and I probably should start, trying to get it working. But it's just too big to use as a tablet. This is perfect. This is a perfect size. The smaller iPads I love. And you know what? I think a lot of people do as well, because the iPad mini is probably selling better than the iPad. So enough about the size, let's talk about performance. It does have tiny little micro stutters sometimes, but that's, to be expected of a slightly older device. But no, performance is very good. Playing games on this is amazing because obviously it's a larger screen than your phone. Watching YouTube, perfect. That's what I use it for, basically. You can watch BT Sports, Sky, anything, whatever you want to watch your TV on here, that's fine. It's a really, really cool device, and the form factor means that it's very, very portable. Stick it in a backpack, or stick it in, if you're a girl or a woman, or even if you're a man and you're into that kind of stuff, put it in your handbag, because it's not even huge. It's actually quite a small device. Put a case on that and it's still quite a small device. So I would recommend that. The cameras then, are they any good? I think the cameras are actually quite decent for a tablet. Obviously they're not amazing, being that it is a mobile device, number one, and because it's a mobile device, the sensor size is really small. And then number two, the fact that it is on an iPad, and I don't know why you'd use it for major photography, although you could if you really wanted to, because it's a decent camera. It's a decent front camera as well, so you could even, do Skype and voice calls and FaceTime and all that on it, because it does work just fine. It's just not professional, if you know what I mean. So the one that I actually have right here is the one owned by my mum. My mum owns this. This is her silver one, or white one, or whatever you want to call it. My brother Paddy has an identical iPad. It's actually in a black version though. So everything about it is the same, it's just a black version. He loves it, my mum loves it. They use it for very separate things. My mum does a lot of work on her. She, uses her email and reads PDFs and stuff like that. And then Paddy plays games, watches YouTube, generally stuff like that, voice calls, Skype, FaceTime, things like that. So that's pretty cool. It just shows like the varying differences. Obviously, this is a device for multimedia consumption, so I would not recommend buying one of these to do work on, because you just can't. You have to have really a laptop, or at least something that runs a desktop operating system, maybe even Chrome OS if you, but I'm still a true believer that you need a desktop operating system to do work. But you're getting closer to that. So I wouldn't recommend one of these for work because, again, they are designed for multimedia consumption, but if you want to, I guess you could try it. I'm just not a big believer of working on tablets. And would I own one? If someone gave me £180 and said go buy a tablet, I wouldn't buy this. Spoiler alert, this is my favourite iPad. By far all of them, this is my favourite iPad. But I would go with the Nexus 7, which is about £120, which means you're saving yourself £60 pretty much. And you're getting, in my opinion, much better experience because it can be customized. If you're not about Android, go for this. If you're into Android, I would severely pretty much suggest going for the Nexus 7 because the Nexus 7 is a much better option. But I would recommend this, so this gets the thumbs up from failtech.co.uk. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been your boy Ryan Thomas from failtech.co.uk, and we hope to see you in the next video. Peace.